sail.
A time for tug of war to see who is stronger at the end of the day.
A time to meet, a time to greet,
A union of many nations on this small island.
come, come, come.
People are nice and friendly, great hospitality from everybody. The men are handsome and steady, all of them are ready to take you round the country. Besides all the action, you'll get total satisfaction from our sea water and sand. Your beaches cannot compare with those we have down here.
Come, 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 come and join the fun. A time to eat, no time to sleep.
There are endless parties, cultural activities, races, both land and sea.
A time to wine, free up your waistline.
Put some rhythm in your soul, get rid of the cold.
Come, 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 come and join the fun.
Light of everybody. The final smash down Saturday, Sunday, Monday
In Hillsborough City,
people come from all over Canada, USA, Africa, Trinidad, St. Vincent, St. Lucia. Oh, what a festival! A small island bacchanal.
come, 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 come and join the fun. A time to mix, a time to gigs,
A time for hugging, kissing and caressing on a favorite beach.
a time to jam in a band.
Parading back drunk and bikini. Oh, what a sight to see.
Come, come, come,
Oh, Danji, you surely convince me I'm going to gather the bosses. They are coming with me to the gather city.
in your beautiful country.
Hey, lady, get ready your passport, plane ticket, you don't need no visa. Touch your points and in Grenada, then Borosbridge, Louisiana.
Come, 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 come and join the fun. I spend the time to free up your mind
From the worries and pain that's affecting your brain all through the year.
No time to think, a time to drink.
Enjoy the drug for thrill and string band on this small island.
Come, 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 come and join the fun. A time to swim, scuba diving,
Boat fishing and beach volleyball, other water sports for one for all.
a time for excursions to neighboring islands.
Forward march to Ugly House, forward march. That's the march against oppression, forward march. Now the end of condemnation, end of misery and oppression. So we kill the nigger bull with our sword. Forward march, forward march. Forward march against imperialism. Forward march, forward march. Forward march against imperialism. National Bloc of Liberation, forward march. We are fight for liberation, forward march. Now the end of condemnation, end of misery and oppression. So we feel we need a fool in our song. Forward march, forward march. Forward march against imperialism. Forward march, forward march. Forward march against imperialism. We are for colonialism, forward march. We will fight imperialism, forward march. Now Canadians of population, end of misery and oppression. So we will remain a move with our song. Forward march, forward march. Forward march against imperialism. Forward march, forward march. Forward march against imperialism. Do the workers fight for justice, forward march. In this struggle we are united, forward march. For now the day of condemnation, we end corruption and oppression. And we give Grenada with the very hand. Forward march, forward march. Forward march against imperialism. Forward march, forward march. Forward march against imperialism. Forward!
Time is now. Cause I and I can't wait no longer. So let's live in one. And share the love and just stand firm. What you gonna do now?
Stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada, stand up,
Little island of Ethiopia.
stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada, stand up,
Stand firm. Now,
now,
now the time has come. And everyone has got to know the truth. There'll be no more isolating of I and I people. No. But first, you got to be together. Say, brothers and sisters, love each other. Tell me what you're gonna do.
stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada, stand up,
Little island of Ethiopia.
stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada, stand up,
Stand firm. There's the land I Father provide. Come, I dream. Come, I sister. There's work to be done. Some seeds I got to plant. Watch out. I have cocoa, nutmeg, yeah man, I nana. Make it blow like the locks on my crown. Oh, hear what I say, yeah.
stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada, stand up,
Little pressing charges.
Stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada. Stand up.
All over Caracou, yeah. Rastafari music. One love from Ines. Who have eyes to see, let them see. Cause the time is now. Them bring I a long time from way over yonder. Now that I and I are free, like I and I supposed to be. Let I and I share this land with one love. Stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada. Stand up, Greenland of Ethiopia.
Stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada. Stand up.
Let's plant the herbs and let them grow.
Stand up,
I sister. And I know that Jaja give I all living help to me. Make I and I plant it, let it grow like the locks on I crown. Yeah.
stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada. Stand up.
Watch ya. Tell you them I lick up them ital in Grenada. Them I lick up them ital in Jamaica. All over London town, Rasta man I lick up him ital, yeah. So let it grow, so we can share it. Share it with my brother, share it with my sister. All over this iration. Keep on standing up, stand firm, yeah.
Stand up, sweet, sweet Grenada. Stand up. Stand up.
Each one got to teach one in this time, so I and I can know the truth, yeah. Keep on standing,
Sweet, sweet Grenada.
yeah.
Stand up.
Keep on standing, keep on standing, keep on standing, yeah.
Stand up.
Stand
night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Mia. Stand firm. Don't let no mercenaries. 440-7377. We open the phone lines early tonight. But before we get to that, yes, we have to say a special good night to the listeners joining us via the various mediums. Those of you Noise Radio 94.9 out there in Brooklyn, good night to you, Wade. Good night to the home circle with you. And of course, those of you listening to us online, Lishra Abraham, how was the birthday, girl? Yeah, I hope everything went all well and okay. And let me see who else is on YouTube. Phyllis Mitchell, Faithlyn Hallie Douglas, Carl Jones, Carib Spice, Adrian Watts, Alban Harris, Anne-Marie Celestine Grant, Wilfred Antwine, Kathleen Ledlow, Michelle Alexander, Agnes Henry, Gavin Thomas, Baby Daddy, and Shanron Thomas, Errol Bonaparte, Jenna Benjamin, Cynthia Bartholomew, Earl Benjamin, Hilary Joseph, Marilyn Ferguson, good night, girl. Alcy Peters, Deborah Laborde, Jackie Raymond, Sherma Jeremiah, Faithlyn Hallie Douglas, Hermina Batiste. I'm seeing Maud Martin, Stephanie John, good night to you, and everyone else at home. Tati, your husband, everybody, good night to you all. Kathleen Knights, Alan Jones, good night to you, good night to Zoe. Yes, indeed. Janice Mitchell, Hazel, JP, good night. Gemma Warwood, Veronica Nimbra, Jacinta Livingston, Jakim Williams, Henry Shaitan, Vesta Braffett, Jacinta Alves, Anna Barbara. Good night to all of you jumping onto the live. Zayla, I know you're listening because, yeah, I talked to Zayla today. Zayla, I know you're listening, right? Night. Good night to you, Zayla. Good night to you, Exalia. Good night to you as well. And let me see who's on the Facebook. And there's so many of you on the Facebook. Wendy Ann McGuire, Nursey, good night to you. Cynthia B, Lovely Mac, Ann Jackson, Cherie Lambert, Ingrid Bourne, Mavis Thorne, Tessa McFarlane, Phyllis Ramsey, Rodney Barry, Evelyn Narayan, Tora St. John, Gillian Prescott, Denise Fabrio, Ann Jackson, Cynthia Bartholomew, I think I call Ingrid Bourne already, but I'm calling it again. Ingrid Bourne, Maudlin Bartholomew, John Mark, Laslyn Douglas, Teresa Collymore, Linda George, good night. Carol Celestine, let me see. Yeah, Brooklyn. Yeah, you know, Brooklyn always in the place and them kind of thing. Red Girl Pascal, Susan Steele, Charmaine Ragbasing, Betty Ann Murray Ventor, Etta Batiste, Ruth Thomas, Yoland Mitchell Moraine, Everett Prescott, Nigel Moore, Max and Francis. Max, what's up, girl? How is Petit Martinique and how are the parents? Nice? Yeah. I know it go. Laslyn Douglas, Sandra Lewis, cousin Christine Adams, good night to you. Lorna Allen, and let me see, Louisa Williams, good night to you. Donna Langdon, yeah, just seeing your message there. Glenda Robinson, good night. Enid Dakota, Sean L. Gary, Bernadette Ramsey, good night to each and every one of you. Anybody I've missed, I'll get back around to you. Mayana, good night. I see Roy Jackie. Wait, Jackie? Yeah, I see Roy Jackie. Yeah, good night to you. Yeah, Beavis, good night. Deborah Gilbert, I'm going back on YouTube there. Who else? I've seen Jacinta Alves and yeah, all you on YouTube. Everywhere, special good night to each and every one of you. Yeah, we got to get the thing started. You know, you go.
Politics. Please don't.
It's our final program for the week.
Poets. Not qualified as.
Quite a lot has happened in this week, huh?
I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't.
And folks, you know, it's interesting some of the things that we see happening in our country now. And if we take our minds back a year and some and try to connect the dots, or you know, like you're playing tic-tac-toe, so you're trying to come down in a straight line. Yeah, you're trying to get everything in a straight line. You want to connect the dots in a straight line like you're playing tic-tac-toe? Right. Or you want to make sure that you get the information on what is happening now and see how you can connect that with a year and some months ago and different things like that. Now remember, during the election campaign, I was playing campaign promises. Then we will come back to campaign promises. During the election campaign, there were allegations that were floating around various parts of Grenada that certain individuals who had taken the government of Grenada to court, that those individuals were funding the campaign of the then opposition National Democratic Congress. Let me say that again. Because there were allegations that were making the rounds in Grenada that the election campaign of the National Democratic Congress, you're hearing all kind of figure, you're saying they get 2 million or they get 3 million, you're hearing all kind of thing. Those were the allegations that we were hearing. So I'm just making some fair comments based on the allegations that we as Grenadians were hearing prior to election 2022 about who was funding some of the individuals that were funding the campaign of the National Democratic Congress at that time. Yeah? So we were hearing that there was one individual who had taken the government of Grenada to court regarding the moves that they had made to secure the people of Grenada and the CBI program, that individual and their organization had taken the government of Grenada to court. And that's in relation to the Kimpton by Kawana thing. We were hearing the allegation, so I could say it, innit? Yeah, they can't sue me for saying what I was hearing, right? So we were hearing that. And now, the Honorable Minister of, some people go say I shouldn't say Honorable, but the Honorable Minister with responsibility for legal affairs has stated that before the end of this week, let me state that again, in the Senate of our country on Tuesday, Senator Claudette Joseph, who holds the portfolio of Attorney General, Minister of Legal Affairs, etc., stated that the government of Grenada would be settling that case that was brought by the principals of the Kawana Bay resort thing there, that they were settling the case with them. Today, I saw a press release. I was looking at the wrong computer there. Today, I saw a press release from the government of Grenada where they stated their intent to settle that case and to settle it before the end of this week. And I'm looking for it right now. And as usually happens when you're looking for something, it does disappear from in front of you. But I'll find it in a short while. Somebody send it to me, please. Yeah. So, it was being stated by the Government Information Service. They sent out a press release saying that, that the government of Grenada will be settling that case out of court. In other words, they're not going to let the case finish. They are going to tell the person, look, Grenada are wrong, we're going to pay all you off. They're not going to go to the court and complete where the person could very well find out that they are wrong and end up having to compensate you, the people of Grenada. This government is seeking to forego the completion of that case in the international courts and pay off these individuals. How much are they going to pay them off? We have no idea. We do know that the government made an application for $60 million in relation to reclaiming properties and so on. And the minister did make reference to the fact that they will be reclaiming the land where, as we knew it before, Flamboyant Hotel and Kimpton Bay by Kawana is right now. So we did hear, and I'm still searching as I'm speaking, we did hear that they are going to be reclaiming that property because it's leasehold and thing, and so they're going to basically the same thing that they did with Radisson, where they reclaimed the property there. They are going to do the same thing with Kimpton by Kawana now. So they're going to officially reclaim it. Now the Constitution gives you the ability as a government in the national interest to claim any piece of land anywhere in the state of Grenada. Yeah? So anywhere from the top of Petit Martinique come right down, the government of Grenada can seize that property. They have to gazette it and so on. There's a process that must go through, and they have to pay you at market value for that property. So at this stage, we see that the government is saying clearly that they are going to reclaim that property where the Kimpton by Kawana is, and that means that they're going to have to pay the people for the property, the leasehold, and they're going to have to pay them at market value, and they will also be settling otherwise. So they're going to have to pay them other money. How much? We do not know. But I find it sort of strange, considering what we were hearing last year, considering the allegations that we were hearing last year, that those individuals, those same individuals, and folks, I want you to like, I see Baby Daddy and other people telling you all, make sure within the next few minutes, we have to be up to 100 likes within the next few minutes, yeah? Now, we have to understand something here. We were hearing that these individuals, I'll come to the phone line in a while, folks. We were hearing that these individuals had funded the campaign of the National Democratic Congress of Deacon Mitchell. We were hearing that. We were hearing that the individuals were upset with Dr. Mitchell and the new National Party, and that as such, they had funded the NDC. That is what the allegations out there were. That is what we were hearing. So I'm making some fair comments in relation to the allegations that we were hearing out there. Nice. Now you're hearing that the same individuals who you heard that allegations about last year, instead of the case that they have against Grenada, which they stand a high chance of losing and ending up having to pay Grenada, that Grenada is now saying, we ain't bothering to fight the case. Let's settle out a court. We go pay you. How much they're going to pay them? They have not said. But they said that, and tomorrow is Friday, that the negotiations in relation to this issue are going to be completed this week. Yeah? Then obviously they'll have to make the applications to reclaim that property, to seize the property where the Kimpton by Kawana Bay, where, that you said. And just remember certain things, eh? Remember, when you're listening to the Prime Minister's life story, you hear of his involvement with the Flamboyant Hotel. You hear him saying that when he was going to school on holidays, that he used to work that same location. I'm also hearing allegations that it seems as though he was on some board of directors, probably, of the Flamboyant. Is that true, Mr. Prime Minister? Were you on the board of directors of the Flamboyant? And I would like to know if the Prime Minister, in his former life, had been a beneficiary of the deal that came into place to ensure that the Kimpton by Kawana started the construction. And when I say that, I'm asking the question of whether or not he was the lawyer representing either the parties selling or the parties buying. So the people that Kimpton and them buy over from, or the people that were selling to Kimpton, or Kimpton, you understand? So I'm asking if the Prime Minister's law firm, because there are complications when that is the case, if the Prime Minister's law firm was involved in any form or aspect in relation to the Kimpton by Kawana or the Prime Minister himself, either in the purchase of the property before and even now in what is going to be taking place and the transactions that are going to take place, if the Prime Minister's law firm is in any way involved in those transactions. And if so, did Mr. Deacon Amiss Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada and the head of the Cabinet of Grenada, recuse himself from any cabinet sitting in which decisions in relation to these facilities were made? Because if he did not, I would say that he has caused a conflict of interest in relation to this issue. Yeah, I think I've been very clear, have I? I would say that I believe he has caused a conflict of interest when it comes to this particular issue. And again, we have to ask ourselves the question, why, good night to you, Matthew Bowen, Chief Camahon, good night. Why do they not let the case be completed? Because one of the allegations we're hearing there were that in the way that CBI works, in this instance, you had various properties, sub-properties within the property that people were paying for and different things, and you pay and you put money into that particular project. So it's a CBI project. You have people that go out and they get people to buy into the project. The money comes in. The allegations were that the monies that were coming in for the project here in Grenada were being taken and used on projects outside of Grenada. Yeah? So that you had money that was being paid by individuals who were paying into a project that was operating within the state of Grenada, and the allegations were that those monies were being, instead of spent on the project here in Grenada, those monies were being used to spend on projects in another territory, not even within the state of Grenada, very far from here, that those monies were being spent in that territory on another facility, which is wrong. Yeah? Because then, if the monies are coming into Grenada and they're supposed to be spent on a project here, and then the government of Grenada, who is receiving those monies and releasing those monies to the projects, finds that, okay, we release this amount of money to you, which is supposed to bring you to completion or to this level, or be it 40%, be it 50%, be it 60%, be it 100%. But instead of that, instead of you being at 40%, you're at 15%. And then we're seeing that there were transactions where the money, instead of being spent in Grenada, was being spent somewhere else. Then the government has a responsibility to act if that was the case. And this is what we were hearing. These are the allegations that were made. This is the reason that the people in charge of that particular facility became upset and then decided that they're going to take the government of Grenada to court because they want the rest of the money. But if the government was giving you the money to do something here, and instead of doing it here, you were taking the money and using it elsewhere, so the project here may very well have ended up unfinished anyway. The people who gave the money into that, their money gone, and then Grenada looked bad. So instead of allowing that to happen, we are hearing that what the government did was ensure that they protected the name of the CBI program and the name of Grenada. That is what we are hearing. That sounds as a clear-cut case to me if you're going to any arbitration, that a state has a right to protect itself and to protect its programs, protect its name, as far as I understand. Yeah? So the funds that ought to have been spent here were being loaned to a company affiliated. It wasn't the same company, you know. It wasn't even the same company to say, well, it's the same company, so you run short over there. So you say, well, let me take out some money from here and use on that. It was a sister company from what the allegations are, that the funds were being taken and used elsewhere. So tell me, if you think the government of Grenada should settle in a case like that, if they do not have a good case when it goes to court. But this government has decided, no, we ain't going to court, we go settle outside. We go pay them, whether it's how much million, and then when they pay them the how much million, they will come and tell you and then blame NNP. They wouldn't explain to you the circumstances around why the then government made the moves that they did make. They will not explain that to you. They would come to you and say, you see, we had to spend, you didn't have to spend that amount of money, you could have gone to court. You could have completed the process, but if you're incompetent and you know that you would go to court and muddle the thing up, then that's one thing. If you know that your Minister of Legal Affairs is a mook, I didn't want to say that, let me take that back. But anyway, But that's if you want to say that. If you want to say that you're incompetent, you're unable to properly handle the legal aspect of the case, ask for help. Ask for help from the former administration. Rather than go now and take the money, maybe millions, tens of millions, who knows how much, take money from Grenada and give to the individuals when there may be a good case of them doing something wrong. How could people be paying into the program, this Grenada CBI program, for a project here in Grenada, and the money leaving Grenada and ending up in another company in another country? And when everything fall down now, you would have heard that, NNP and them again with CBI. So instead of that, they did the proper thing. They were monitoring, which means that the checks and balances were in place to monitor and see that, hey, this is going on, it needs to stop. Yeah? And from what I'm hearing, the company was warned, because it's on more than one occasion that they took funds out of Grenada. That's the allegation. On more than one occasion, they took funds out of Grenada and sent that to another company in another country. And they were warned. And they repeated it like, we don't care about all you. It's all you. Nothing that we money, and they go ahead doing the thing. And that is when a stop had to be put to the entire thing. Again, is it not a case where the government of Grenada had a good case? Look, remember, this is the same people that rushed to ensure that they paid the teachers. Now, me and they're Grenadians. In fact, teachers get money, that's the business, right? But these are the same people that rushed to make sure they pay the teachers before the judgment in that case came out. And the judgment came out in favor of the government of Grenada. Yet still the teachers had already been paid. Nobody is saying that the judgment couldn't come out in favor of the government of Grenada, and then you decide out of goodwill that you're still going to pay the teachers. Nobody didn't say anything. But instead of waiting for that, they rushed in front and paid the teachers. And the judgment came out in favor that the government did something that was legal and not illegal as it was being challenged. And that is why, things like that, yeah, that reminds me. Teacher Jude, where you there, man? Only time we need to hear from Teacher Jude. Yeah, because from what took place earlier this week, we want to hear from Teacher Jude. But we will come to that in a while. We want to hear from Teacher Jude, but we will come to that in a while. I'm saying here that once again, we are seeing this government in what seems to be footsie with different organizations and people. There seem to be a lot of footsie playing under some table here in Grenada. Because you're hearing that you have people who are sitting in cabinet that was representing certain businesses as their lawyer. They were the legal representation of these people. You hear in one instance that they're going to buy how much acres of land from those individuals. They didn't take themselves out. Well, I know in other countries there's a thing called you recuse yourself. In other words, something comes up that you have a personal interest in, that you leave the cabinet chamber, you go out, so that you cannot be said to have been involved in the final decision that was made. Yeah? Because it says, justice has to be done and seem to be done. Yeah, so that's the case. So I'm saying here that when it comes to the set of lands you're hearing about for teaching, hospital and housing and so, ask yourself, who is the lawyer involved? And even if they're not directly involved, because since we've been speaking about this, expect that they're going to front another lawyer to do it and collect a little something on the side. There's a possibility. That is a possibility that they can front another lawyer. But look back in the records over the past 5-10 years and see who has been the lawyer representing these people that all of a sudden gain all the preference in relation to everything. And ask yourself as well if you think there is now a bit of footsie playing under the table, because there is the appearance of a largesse being given to certain groups and individuals and businesses here in Grenada. check who their lawyer was and find out if their lawyer is not sitting in the cabinet right now, where the decisions to give these people tens of millions of dollars is not being made now. You heard the allegation in relation to Kimpton. People were saying 2 million to give them, others saying, nah, here is 3. You are hearing the allegation hot, all over Grenada. The only people who didn't hear it were people who didn't want to hear it. But we were hearing the allegations. So now you're telling me the same company who we were hearing, who it was being alleged, gave a couple $1 million to the NDC campaign, who has a case against the government and people of Grenada. Is you they have the case against, or no? Not just, it's not Dr. Mitchell, it's not NNP. They have the case against the government and people of Grenada. Yeah? So you're telling me that the allegations that we were hearing last year, with that still circulating and so on, now we find ourselves in a situation where these same individuals, without the case going any further, how can I expect me to read that now? Yeah, without the case going any further, where that company stands a very high possibility of losing and end up having to pay everything for the government of Grenada, pay for the lawyers, pay for all kind of thing, pay damages, all kind of thing. Instead of us going to that direction, you're looking to rush to complete an agreement this week. And I think I got the release somewhere there. Let me just go through the release quickly. It's quite lengthy. And then I did see the phone ringing a couple times. I'll take the phone call. I just wanted to complete on what I was saying there before I started taking the phone calls. I didn't want to take, and then we end up on another issue and so on. We lose the trend of thought on this one. So I apologize. I will take the phone calls in a short while, but let me just read this one. So this press release, government of Grenada and U.S. investors reach agreement to resolve Kawana Bay arbitration. Government to compulsory acquire the 5-star resort development and seek new partner to finish the project that stalled in 2021 under the prior government. So it's dated St. George, Grenada, August the 31st. That's today. The government of Grenada and a group of U.S. investors that had been working through True Blue Development to build the Kawana Bay Resort near world-famous Grand Anse Beach jointly announced the resolution of a dispute that has been under arbitration since 2021 before the World Bank's International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, elected in 2022, I fail to see why that's necessary to put there, led efforts to reach an amicable outcome to the impasse, which had halted construction of the 5-star resort 2 years ago under a prior government, even though 92% of available units at Kawana Bay had been sold or committed for sale to international investors. So 92% sold. Those people, money was here. But were those 92% of the places that were sold people's money being used in the state of Grenada and only in the state of Grenada as it ought to have been used? The CBI from Grenada is not to fund another country. It's to fund projects in the state of Grenada. And they even putting this in here and they don't understand that. That is simple common sense. Come on, secondary school students, I know you're listening to this program tonight. Isn't that simple common sense? As a result of the agreement, the Grenadian government will assume ownership of the Kawana Bay project and property and seek a new developer to complete the project, which has already reached an advanced state before the dispute arose. As far as I hear, they already have the investor lineup already, and anyway, we will talk about that one. Importantly, they go hold off on it for a while to make it look like they're looking for one, but they already know they're giving thing to. Importantly, in accordance with Grenadian law, owners and investors in Kimpton Kawana Bay will be entitled to seek compensation from the government of Grenada pursuant to Grenadian law for the compulsory acquisition of the property. The Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, stated the government of Grenada desires a fair and equitable resolution with all owners and committed purchasers at Kimpton Kawana Bay, whose citizenship status in Grenada is unaffected by this negotiated agreement. In fact, the citizenship by investment program remains active and strong, and we anticipate its continued contributions to the Grenada economy and our people. But Mr. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, that is not what was happening. That is not what was happening. The allegation is that the continued contributions that you're saying to the Grenadian economy were not going to the Grenadian economy, but going to another country economy, which was wrong. True Blue investors responded saying, we commend the government of Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell for working with us to resolve this situation in an atmosphere of mutual respect and trust. We have always believed that the Kawana Bay project will make a tremendous contribution to Grenada's economy and are pleased that the Kawana Bay project will now move forward unburdened by a dispute that arose under a previous government. Well, what else you expect them to say if they do have to waste time to bother to pay lawyers and thing again and end up losing a case against the state of Grenada? If they find a fish head, all you know what they're going to do to it. Those are all it does, eat fish. It is. Some of us are allergic, and well, I ain't allergic, but certain types, right? So all you know, when they hold a fish head, what they does do with it, right? Nice. Children, ask mommy and daddy. Don't tell all what does do with a fish head. A spokesperson for the Grenadian government, a spokesperson of the government of Grenada, sending out a release, and they say a spokesperson. That song has something that I see in the news today. A spokesperson or a source. So you're telling me the spokesperson on behalf of the government, what happened? Because all you ain't confirmed Miss ATN yet, all you can say is she? There's no she that's saying that? I don't know. I'm asking, is it her that's saying this? Because I find it strange that the wording is a spokesperson for the government of Grenada, or the Grenadian government, said, Grenada welcomes foreign investment and respects the rule of law. It was time to move beyond this unfortunate episode, which needlessly impeded development of Kawana Bay, a property that will be a mainstay of Grenada's tourism and leisure industry. We appreciate the True Blue investors' contribution to Grenada's economy, and they are working with the government to negotiate a resolution to this dispute that will benefit all Grenadians. Under terms of the agreement, the government of Grenada will obtain the entire Kawana Bay resort through a compulsory acquisition and take steps to ensure that the project is completed and built out to its fullest potential for the benefit of the tourism industry and for maximum employment of Grenadian citizens top of mind. The True Blue development will no longer be involved, and the ICSID arbitration is discontinued. So they're discontinuing the action because they'll lose anyway. They're discontinuing the action that they have because they find a fish head that's willing to just pay them to try and look good, and then to come and blame the NNP, who was trying to protect the CBI program of Grenada, to blame the NNP and say, NNP that caused all you to have to pay that money. When if they had gone and completed the arbitration that was taking place, the probability of Grenada winning was extremely high. Once they had a proper team put together to argue the case, if they go and they send fish head for them to suck up their tooth, that's what will happen. That's what will happen. So I'm asking you all, should the government have discontinued, based on what I have said here tonight, should the government have discontinued or allowed this case to go to arbitration, where even if something happened in the first round, you could have appealed and so on, but let it go to arbitration, where it was very highly probable and most likely that the government of Grenada would have won that case and that these people would end up having to pay Grenada. Because these people come out to you and tell you things knowing full well that the vast majority of us don't bother to go and check on it and go and read and go and see if what is being said is the truth and that sort of thing. Yeah? But I'm just giving you all a rundown on what took place. We have a call online. Let's go to the phone line. Good night.
Sheldon Scott, good night.
Good night, Camille Teresa Scott.
People. Good night to Mr. Ledlow. Captain Ledlow, good night. Sheldon, well, why they didn't take these people to court? Why they did not take the people to court? Why they don't want to go to court?
Well,
Mr. Scott,
it was already in court, you know.
Listen, I remember with Grindberg. You understand?
Yes.
Mr.
Bowen.
The former minister.
Mr. Bowen.
Took them to court in America. And he win that case and get some money for Grenada. So what's wrong with Claudette and them? Why they didn't take these people to court? And they would have win that case. Something is not right. That
I'm telling you, Cammy, I agree with you.
Sheldon, something is not right. That something is not right with these people. These people and them. Sheldon, let me tell you something. Why they didn't take the people to court? They would have win that case. What guy wicked people are always these people are wicked people.
This is the situation. Because they may very well take 50, 60 million and give to these people.
And still have some Grenadians take me as and yet and say, that is the best thing that happening for us. A lot of Grenadians. That is the best thing, oh God. What the Prime Minister is in Grenada now? You know, I don't think he's in Grenada. He gone again.
I'm not sure where he is. You never know, yeah?
Why these people and them is wicked people. Those people and them doing the thing under the table. Lord of mercy for Grenada, Caricom, Pity Matnik, under Deacon and all these people and them. Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy for this little country of ours. And it's we that suffering. We that suffering. Them people and them go there to make their pockets fat. Sheldon, let me tell you something. Just be careful, eh? Because I don't want to strangle you. Yeah? I don't want these people and them kill you as how they find the young man dead on the beach. Be very careful. You hear what I say?
Yes, ma'am.
Because they don't like you because you're bringing up facts. You're opening the eyes of a lot of us in this country here. You understand what I'm saying? You don't like Dum and them. Be very careful. I'm warning you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I am
Good night, Grenada.
All right, Cabby. 440-7377 347-329-3101. Let me hear your take on this, because I think I've tried my best to explain it as best as I can. What the present situation is in relation to this. We've heard the minister saying that how they're going to settle. I've read the release to you. Yeah, including a quote from a spokesperson. We don't know who the spokesperson is on behalf of the government agreement, but a spokesperson. Because we hear all kind of thing about who is press sec and who is not press sec and who pressing the sec and all kind of thing. We hear anything. You understand? So right now, we are seeing articles start to come out like if it's the new today. Kathy Pope, good night to you. Christelle, good night to you. Yeah, you're starting to hear all sorts of similar. Folks, yes, just remember to like and share. Like and share. I want to see them likes going up. Like and share. Like and share. Nice. Make sure all you click the like button. But I'm saying that I find it very strange what is taking place here. So you come to Parliament, you say you need $60 million, and then that $60 million is being used a lot in things that we are hearing that your legal firm has a connection. So who making, if it's 60 million, and you have all of the, for the conveyance and all these things to take place, we know somebody might be walking out with a couple million in their pocket, you know. Some law firm might be coming out with a couple million. At the worst, a couple 100,000. But they're going to be coming out significantly richer than they went in. Meanwhile, when these things are taking place and you realize a certain category of people, so you're hearing who was funding program, the allegations that these people were funding program, now you realize these people are on the cusp of receiving significant amounts of your money. Yeah, they are on the cusp of that. Even after what it is alleged that they did. That is the stage we are at right now. Yeah? So I am not sure. Yeah, I agree. That's not Etienne that wrote that release. Yeah, that had to be written by the lawyers. Yeah, that wasn't even written by Grenada. It was released by the government of Grenada, but that wasn't even written by the government of Grenada. Nah. a spokesperson. That alone supposed to tell you it couldn't come from the government. Yeah, that alone supposed to tell you that. But folks, we have to understand what is taking place. Some people getting rich in this place right now. They could try all they want and hide it as much as possible. Yeah? And Cammy say careful. Cammy, people know anything happened to me, they know exactly who do it. They know exactly who do it and who is involved in it. Yeah? And if they feel like earlier in the year where they try, anything like that could be happening again and go have the same ending. Let's just pray that everybody remains nice and calm, because all we want is unity and peace. We want nothing else. All right? People must be free to speak, and people must be free to say and expose what they have to expose, and that kind of thing. And everybody could be nice and dandy. And they say freedom of speech. Yeah? Because remember, it's the same prime minister when I'm saying what I'm saying. Just remember, let me see if I can find that one. Yeah? It's the same prime minister that was saying that if people are willing to donate money, CBI people, and remember, that company is a CBI company, is the same prime minister that say he's willing to take money from CBI people. So this is not an accusation that is based on ignorance. It's an accusation that's based on a fact of what the prime minister said and what we've been hearing. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Scott.
How are you doing, sir?
Good night to the Talking Points. Good night, Wendy. Good night, everybody on the live. Yeah. I want to say a special good afternoon to Mr. Nimrod Oliver and Mr.
Boss. Bro, I know what's going on. I know what's going on with you there, bro. All of a sudden you just gone there. You know? We didn't hear anything you just said. Something happened with your signal. You had to move close to your router or something.
I did close it. Yeah, I send a special good afternoon to Mr. Nimrod and Mr. Prince and Miss Kami for that little drive that all of them, you guys do an excellent job in sending out little backpacks and little things for the kids. I ain't lying. And I am so proud to say that I give a little thing for myself also. I give something for them children also.
Of course.
So despite all the hardships, we will do what we have to do and we will continue being we. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But on a serious note, Mr. Scott, I have been watching the Parliament. I went back and watched it from Friday on. And you made a very pertinent point concerning the camera angles. But do you know, when Dr. Mitchell was talking, if you watch what you call the pan view, and who knows camera knows a pan view, the view from way back, you watching Minister Ron Redhead, you watching Mr. Deacon, you watching Mr. Williams, and like they laid back and like the spot off, like
I didn't see Mr. Williams.
He
wasn't there.
Well, wherever he was.
But the others, yeah.
Well, he wasn't there. He didn't in there, but I've been watching.
No,
them.
you're not in India.
I've been
in
watching
Canada.
them. Yeah, in Canada, wherever they thinking, talking on live. Anyway, but I've been watching them, and I observed Honorable Delma Thomas. I call Honorable Delma Thomas, and I've been watching the discourse, and for some reason, you are clearly right. They are not focusing on the person that is speaking at the time, and the decorum in the house. They're only focusing on what Dr. Mitchell get on with, his response, and his clear, in my view, frustration, because what the people not seeing in the memes is what happened before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a saying, anytime you see a 10-minute video, there's a whole hour before. Show what happened before. So what I will say, Mr. Scott, I have all respect for Mr. Deacon Mitchell, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, as they are parliamentarians, but in the streets, I have none. So when I see them, it's Deacon, and I can't spell. D-E-C-O-N. Have a good night.
All right, my brother. Thank you so very much. All right, 440-737. Let me just make sure both of these are clear. Right, 440-7377. That's the number for you to get onto the program tonight. Just remember, it's the same Prime Minister that made this statement, eh?
There was a
Onto
question
the
I wanted
program
to raise
tonight.
with
Just
you
remember. Okay, let me just make sure something is playing in the back. Yeah, I want to make sure that I mute that. Let me see where you. Yeah, use the offender here. Right. So let me just play this one quickly for you, eh?
There was a question I wanted to raise with you before we went to break, which I'm going to raise now, and then we
In
can.
fact, let me take the call and then I'll get back to that. Hello. Oh boy, seems as though I hit the wrong thing. Where is it? Okay, yeah. All right, let me see. Before I start that, I'm gonna give a few seconds to see if that person will call back. No, yes. Okay, let's play this and then we'll come back to that.
There was a question I wanted to raise with you before we went to break, which I'm going to raise now, and then we're going to move on to a couple of the global topics really, really quickly. But would CBI be funding your campaign in any way?
I don't know if CBI will be funding my campaign in any way. But I would say this, given what I've said about the CBI campaign, if there are persons in the CBI who wish to donate to the National Democratic Congress, I will certainly accept the funds. As I've said, the CBI process is essentially the government's third avenue for generating revenue, and those funds, in my view, will truly be used to transform opinion. But there are other aspects of the CBI program which we don't necessarily in a position to have the time to discuss, where I think we are underutilizing some of the skill set and some of the connections that some of the persons who become citizens of Grenada may be able to assist with helping solving some of the challenges that a small island state may face.
So you actually have not targeted or expect to target or expect to be offered any CBI campaign financing?
No, I have not targeted, nor do I expect that anyone would just hand funds over like that. As I said, it's the same approach that we would take to anyone who we seek funding from, which is if you believe in a better grid, if you believe in the things.
Yeah, so it seems as though I'm looking for this thing, you know. Yeah, I'm looking for that. But the Prime Minister did say there, when he was simply just the political leader of the National Democratic Congress and they were staring down the barrel of the election, he did say in that interview on The Narrative with Ms. Kalistra Faria that he was willing to accept money from companies, organizations involved in the CBI program. Yeah? What happened between that point in time when he said that and the general election, we don't know. They've not made their accounts public. Yeah? They've tried to cast aspersions on the new National Party in relation to that sort of thing, but they have not made their accounts open, you know. Yeah? So that question was asked because of the allegations that were out there that the people involved in Kimpton, Kawana Bay had given the NDC a couple $1 million for the election campaign because they just wanted to get rid of Dr. Mitchell. That is the reason the question was asked. That question was asked before the general election last year. That is why he was asked that question. Now we're seeing a CBI company whose name was calling as one of those who was funding. That's the allegation. We're seeing them case squashed, give them money. That's what we're seeing now. Yeah? And we're not supposed to ask, well, why? Especially when Grenada is on a good wicket. Yeah, with good batsmen. Well, I don't know who the batsmen they had. No, we had good batsmen to deal with the case. I don't know who they had dealing with the case when the new National Party left office, or if they even attempted to deal with the case. But now we're hearing them that this week, and I'm looking for the audio for that, but all of a sudden that disappear by. I find all your moving kind of sticky with all your boy there, you know, them thing disappear and all kind of thing. No, you understand? So I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find the audio now, and let me just take one moment, folks. You can call in 440-7377. As I was playing the audio is why I declined to take a couple of the calls a short while ago, but you could call now. And especially if somebody is on and you're hearing someone on and you're trying to call at the same time, if the person is about to rap or something and you call, it's one thing. But if you see somebody just call and you're calling at the same time, I would not be able to take your call, so you're going to just keep calling. It's not that I'm ignoring you. It's that I am allowing the person to speak. All right, just letting you all know. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Sharon.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. I apologize to Patty and Matthew. I say good night to my people. Good night.
Yes,
good night
indeed.
to Patty and you don't even remind me, Sharon.
Well, no, me for myself,
good night to Matthew.
especially tonight.
Matthew, darling, good night. I want to call back to say good night to you and Patricia. You all are very special to me.
Of course.
And Mr. Watt. Mr. Watt, good night, you and the wife. Good night to your lovely people. And my girlfriend, the Jamaican friend. And my boyfriend that sent the ointment from his foot from Boca. Good night to you all in New York. Sharon, thank you very much.
No problem, Cammy.
I just want to say good night to these people. These people are these lovely people. Since Patricia going to high school with friends. It's a lot of years.
Yes.
Patty, good night,
But
darling, and I love you.
Cammy, I
good
see
night, Mr.
I'll call on the next line,
and
so let me try.
Sharon, don't try to give them, but just be careful. Don't take a ride with people you don't know.
Of course.
You hear what I say?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good night to Dr. Mitchell. Good night. And Miss Yolan Smith, the ambassador. Good night, darling. And Grenadians, I want all to support Miss Yolan Smith with her book. As a Grenadian, a South Grenada over the years. Buy the book. She
Yes.
have a book out.
Cammy, we go talk.
Sharon, good night, darling.
All right. Later. And we have another call online. Good night. Hello.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night. Yes, caller.
Good night, Mr. Sheldon Scott.
Go right ahead. You're live.
I am very young and, however, I am baffled by the people in cabinet. This is something that needs to stop. It cannot stop by traveling. It needs to stop by going on our knees, Mr. Sheldon. The Prime Minister needs to change his ways and we will understand what is going on around the country. You understand?
I understand you.
Yes, and I am young, but I want to see. When you go and fish, you travel with a hook and coconut, and you still catch fish. So I don't know if the Prime Minister want to catch fish as children, but I am young and I would never vote for NDC from start to finish. And I just want the people to know that NDC is a one-term party. So have a good night, Grenada.
All right,
and
brother.
the rest of the listening aid.
All right, thank you. 440-7377. That's the number for you to get on to the inside of tonight's program. Hey, let me say a special good night to Auntie Jenny. Yeah, I listened to Simon Says this afternoon. And boy, I hear a horror story and nothing that, I mean, my blood crawl with some of the stuff that I heard there. I'm not naturally a squeamish person, but some of the stuff that I heard there this evening. Folks, if you didn't get a chance to listen to Simon Says, look on YouTube, find Simon Says, and make sure that after this program, whether you want to listen to it tonight or sometime tomorrow or so, take the time and listen to Simon Says with Miss Jenny Simon. And oh my, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into the details. I'm going to say it's a very good program, and I recommend that you listen what has been said in that program. Tomorrow morning as well, you're going to have the extension. That's going to be starting from 7 a.m. Mr. Andre Donald and crew, they're going to be on, so you can listen for them. And the Sunday program ought to be returning this Sunday. If I remember correctly, it should be returning this Sunday. So we look forward to KB and Igwe, Master Carl, etc. on Sunday. I'm not sure if Master Carl will be on tomorrow morning, but I know Andre and the crew will be on with the extension tomorrow morning. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. It's now 1 minute after the hour. Well, I'm seeing 1 minute after your 9 o'clock on one computer. Wait, now that computer behind, boy. The others are saying 8:57. But again, just remember the Prime Minister did say, so he can't say that we just saying things about him. His supporters cannot say we are just saying things about him. Yeah? He for himself, Deacon and Miss Mitchell, when asked the question, said he willing to take money from CBI. In other words, from CBI companies for his campaign and for his party. Did he eventually do it? Nobody, like everybody afraid to ask him that question. Let's go to the phone line. We have a call online. Good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, good night, brother. How are you?
Just quiet, Sheldon.
All right. You go right ahead.
Yeah, Sheldon, Grenadians don't understand the mistake we made by allowing that man to become the head of our state or the Prime Minister of Grenada. That Prime Minister we have is what we call a servant of corporate imperialism. A man who defends these people, defend their interests, and will do all what it takes to make sure that their interest wins. Even if we need these people. We need them because we need their money. We need them to invest in our country because we need to get jobs for our people and to grow our country. But however, our laws to them is not really what they want to obey. They really want we to obey them. So when they come in your country, they sign what they have to sign. They look for loopholes in your laws. They violate your laws. And when you stand up to them, they even use your same laws in your country to take you to court. And to make you look like if you're... And then they go out there on the international market and they call you hostile and unfriendly and all these kinds of names. However, they got a servant in Grenada now, and what we will call a servant of corporate imperialism. His interest is not to defend the ordinary man or really Grenada in its own interest, but these people's interest in Grenada. He does it before his whole history shows it. If you study his history in the cases that he represents, it tells you that. What will make him change now as a prime minister? He is there now at a higher level to defend these people. We have made a mistake. A lot of people didn't understand the prime minister we had before. A lot of people didn't understand Dr. Mitchell. A man who will stand and defend this country. A lot of people never understand Gregory Bowen. Men who will fight and defend this country will put their reputation, their life, their character on the line to defend Grenada and to make sure that the principle in which we stand in really stand. This Prime Minister we have, Sheldon, I am saying to us, we have a lot to see. There's a lot to come and there's a lot to see. This is a house slave of corporate imperialism. Be careful. Thank you, Sheldon.
All right. Thank you, my brother. And you know, some people have been asking about what is taking place in the African countries right now, the quote-unquote francophone African countries right now. And what they are doing is that they have started the process of removing such leaders in those countries. Leaders who toe the line with these former colonial masters, who allow their resources to be taken by these colonial masters. Meanwhile, the people of those countries are suffering. So what you're seeing happening in those African countries, Niger and Chad and so on, didn't happen just so. We've got a caller online. Good night. Hello?
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, caller. You're live.
Hey, good night. How you doing?
Hey, I'm quite fine, actually. You go right ahead.
Listen, man, I'm calling all the way from New York, man. I have to say, listen, I enjoy your show to the fullest.
Thank you.
100%, man. Like, great job, fantastic job, man.
Thank you.
All right. Just really quickly, I just want to give a quick shout out to my mother. She's in Grenada right now. Lynn, big up yourself. Love you for life. All right. The reason for my call, you know, I'm listening to what's going on right now, and a lot of it I'm hearing, you know, a lot of complaints, you know, but what is really taking place in Grenada? Because Grenada has changed so much, you understand? And for now we have, you know, this prime minister in the house now, and he's not doing what he's supposed to do. And what is we the people looking to do about it? You understand? Is there any way that we can form a coup to get him out?
Well,
Clearly, Grenadians is not happy.
We don't head that direction again. We had our experience with that, and we ain't touching that one. But we have the ballot box. The time will come. The time definitely will come.
But we're not. Grenadians are not happy. Look, for example, he wanted to bring this LBGQT to Grenada. Grenada don't need that. We can't come and pick up Americans and these other European country ways and want to bring it to Grenada. That is not what we're for. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Grenada is a peaceful country. Peaceful island. The people, one of my students came all the way from Switzerland and went to Grenada. And the first thing they said is they love Grenada. They never experienced anything like that. And it's the people, not the government right now, it's the people that are making Grenada the way it is. All right? That is all I want to say. Have a good night.
Right. Thank you so very much. And call again. All right. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right. And you know, the caller mentioned something there, and he spoke about the looking to bring. There's a question. There's something that the Honorable Emlyn Pierce said last night. And while she was speaking, I pulled something up on the screen for you all to see. Now, I don't even think a lot of people realize what I was doing when I did that last night. Now, there is that talk around in relation to a company called Research Triangle Institute. Now, these people have been given exemption from registration, etc. here in Grenada. In other words, they can operate here. They don't have to register. And I'm trying to figure out why. And I could show you the actual SRO. It was gazetted. This was in the government gazette, which is what I was showing you last night. And this is the exemption that company has received. Yeah, this is the exemption that company has received. Mr. Joseph Andal, you're going to tell us why, out of all the companies in the world, the millions of companies, is the state of Grenada giving to this specific company, Research Triangle Institute? Yeah? Why is the government of Grenada exempting them from registration? Will that company be paying taxes here in Grenada? Would they have to declare their assets, etc.? And even if they are non-governmental, they still have to make a declaration to GIFSA and so on every now and again. They would have to present certain documents. Are they being exempted from? Why is that company receiving this special treatment? And folks, I want you all to research the Research Triangle Institute for yourself. Don't just, again, I always say it, don't just take my word for something. I would like you all to do some research on Research Triangle Institute. Yeah? Don't just take Sheldon's word for it. Yeah? That's not a good thing to do, to just take somebody tell you something and you just take that. No. Right? I'm looking for the copy of the Gazette, and let me see if I can pull that up here. The government Gazette, where that was given to them, where they got let me see, I think it is the 11th, August the 11th, let me see, no, not August the 11th, so it must have been the week before that, right. So, and let me just pull it up for you to see. Yeah, so on Friday, August the 4th of 2023, we see number 35 here, government notices. The following document is circulated with and forms part of this Gazette, SRNO number 30 of 2023, the company's exemption from registration, Research Triangle Institute Order 2023. And again, we ask the question, why is that company being given special privileges? Well, let's take this call and we'll get back to that. Oh boy, I missed that one. Yeah. Why is that company? Let me try again. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon. How are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. You go right ahead. You're live.
All right, my brother. You see, like the Kawana Bay stuff you was talking about, a lot of people who sense it. We know, for me, it's not a breaking news kind of stuff. Okay? You could have stayed at distance and see that coming. Okay? The same thing with this LGBTQ, whatever it's been called. Okay? We must think hard where this is coming from, who is behind it. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
People need to think. Just don't, as you just a moment ago said, don't take other people's word for granted. You must think, learn to think and understand, on your own. It is good to listen, but we must think on our own. Yeah? From nothing to something is very, very, very strange. Yeah? And people must try to listen, read, and even, when you're having discussions, see the difference of knowledge that you pick up. Because this is not, don't be surprised you may hear even more. Yeah, don't be surprised you may even hear more. But people in Grenada needs to wake up. Yeah, needs to wake up. Yep. Mm-hmm. Other than that, you're going to get left behind. If you do not help yourself, there's nobody going to help you. Yeah, before it's too late, you need to get up and see what is going on. Because at the end of the day, it is not just us. Today we are there, tomorrow we are gone. But the future of the young generation will be hanging in a ballot. And if our father and mother don't set example in the house, I'm just giving you a common example, okay, that the future will be gone. So every parent, everybody need to think and think wisely. Have a blessed night.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to I've been doing my research as well. And I would say that, for instance, when I did a search in relation to Research Triangle Institute, RTI International, I came across this. That's the RTI website. So you're seeing all the things that they involved in here. But one thing that kind of stepped out to me, because I don't think they're coming in Grenada to treat post-traumatic stress disorder and so for people who come back from war and them kind of thing. But this particular area, LGBTQIA plus equity in research and so on, and in particular, this RTI International, the same Research Triangle International, the same RTI, Research Triangle International, that Joseph Andal signed for, and the Deacon Mitchell-led NDC administration have given exemption from registration for whatever reason. In the state of Grenada, we are seeing what they are involved in. LGBT plus research and programs. RTI International is committed to delivering the promise of science for global good. We believe that equal access to healthcare, education, economic opportunity, and political process is a basic human right. We aim to improve the health, educational, political, and socio-economic well-being of LGBT populations in our communities and around the world through rigorous research programs and evaluation. Yeah? Now remember, that is the same company, let's just get it here, the same company that's mentioned here, Research Triangle Institute. Yeah? That according to this S&R&O, yeah, they are receiving exemption from registration, and I'm wondering, why are they receiving special treatment? Yeah? And we hear things in the background, and then you realize you're researching the company and you see they specialize in these areas. And you ask yourself, well, the government saying one thing, but is the government being truthful to us, the Grenadian people, when they're saying the thing and them that they say? So again, We want to know. Let me just put it up one more time for you. This is the SRO. This is the statutory rules and orders that was passed by the NDC administration in relation to this, giving this company exemption from registration according to the laws of Grenada. They can do that, so they give them exemption from registration. And I'm asking, why did they make a special case in relation to Research Triangle Institute, the same company that we see operating here, the same company, the same RTI International? Why were they given that special treatment? But I know they ain't going to answer me. Yeah. Jude, we see you tomorrow? Yeah, Jude need to come out and talk on certain things, because all the thing they say, they remember, is Jude that come out and say thing, you know. And all are we getting blamed for asking questions about what Jude talk about? So, I mean, the Minister of Education earlier this week basically said Jude lie. But I know certain phone calls was passing between Canada and certain place. So, I know at the end of the day, there will be an attempt to try and blame the NNP. Yeah, I know I expect to come out there and just attack your own people. Yeah, I expect you to just come out there and attack you. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. They cannot tell me I've lied. They are the ones that put out the SRO. They are the ones that put out the government gazette. They are the ones that should tell us exactly what Research Triangle Institute is doing here in Grenada. Because we're also hearing talk about mind bending. That there is an interest in this government in having people who can bend the minds of the population into accepting certain things and to heading certain directions. Yeah? To remove from you your free will to think as you want to think, or to do as you want to do, but to ingrain in you that sense. Because you see it with some of the supporters already. They would see every bit of evidence we've shown here today. They would hear everything, including the Prime Minister saying he could take CBI money, and still try to defend it. They will see everything. They will hear everything. They will know that what you are saying is a fact, and still try to defend it. Yeah? So we want to know about Research Triangle Institute. We want to know why it was necessary to exempt them. We want to know what are they going to be doing here in Grenada. We have heard as well, and again, it missed a lot of people, what Honorable Emlyn Pear was saying last night, and I realized after you all were hearing pretty much better than I was hearing in my headphones, because it was breaking up on my headphones, but when I listened over the audio, I realized it was much better there. Now, yeah, we have to ask Joseph Andal, yes, and we have to ask Joseph Andal about that, and we have to ask the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, because the SRO ain't just come out just so. That had to be approved at the Cabinet level, right? They can't tell me the Minister does just do a SRO on his own. No, that has to be discussed in Cabinet before they do that SRO. No. We have to ask ourselves, why are they doing these things? Why are they attempting to do these things? And why are they also trying to keep information away from us? You know, before you had the weekly press conference, now, when we feel to talk to all you, we go talk to all you. So the minister come in Parliament, he rant and rave where he knows no member of the media could ask him any question there. No member of the media could present this like on RTI International, or present the actual document that he was waving and question him on the document itself. He knows nobody can question him and ask him there, so he decide that is where you want to speak. And if it takes 3 months before you have a Parliament sitting, that means he ain't going to say nothing on an issue until 3 months, because he just feels in his own heart that he don't have to say nothing. He ain't care what you think. He just ain't saying anything on it. Yeah? So the president of the Teachers Union could talk until his face turned purple. The teachers could talk until the air that coming out shine their teeth. But at the end of the day, the minister decide he ain't saying nothing on it and he ain't saying nothing on it until such a time that he has been forced to say something on it. But he chooses a forum because he knows he's incapable of dealing with the questions from the media and even from the general public in relation to this issue. So he goes into a forum where he knows the only people could question him are the members on the other side, and so might be able to ask a question. He can't really ask a question, much questions in relation to ministerial statements. And then he knows, well, you control the House because you are the Speaker, the President of the Senate, and so on. So the President of the Senate could easily say, well, I'm not allowing any questions, and so proceed. So he knows there's a certain level of safety. So that is why he waited all these weeks to come there and speak on the issue. Understand the tactics being used. Understand the tactics being used. Why is Research Triangle Institute being given the ability to operate in Grenada unregistered? Yeah? Did the NDC administration, did the NDC party, the party itself, did they receive any funds from any company involved in CBI, inclusive of the Kimpton by Kawana? Either the company or persons affiliated with the company or sister companies. I know what I'm saying, how I'm saying it. Yeah? Did the National Democratic Congress of Grenada receive campaign financing from Kimpton, Bay, Kawana, True Blue, whatever they want to call it, the company involved in it, anybody associated, any person or persons associated with it, or any peripheral sister companies or brother companies or even father companies or children companies of the company involved there? And if so, how much? If they did receive, how much? Yeah? Because of what we're seeing there about to happen now, I think that we all deserve an answer in relation to this, don't we? Yeah? Because remember, the Prime Minister was the one that said he's willing to take CBI money. Let's hear him again.
There was a question I wanted to raise with you before we went to break, which I'm going to raise now, and then we're going to move on to a couple of the global topics really, really quickly. But would CBI be funding your campaign in any way?
I don't know if that would be funding my campaign anyway. But I would say this, given what I've said about the CBI campaign, if there are persons in the CBI who wish to donate to the National Democratic Congress, I will certainly accept the funds. As I've said, the CBI process is essentially the government's third avenue for generating revenue, and those funds, in my view, will truly be used to transform Grenada. But there are other aspects of the CBI program which we don't necessarily in a position or have the time to discuss, where I think we are underutilizing some of the skill set and some of the connections that some of the persons who become citizens of Grenada may be able to assist with helping solving some of the challenges that a small island state may face.
So you actually have not targeted or expect to target or expect to be offered any.
And we have a call online. Good night.
Yes, good night.
Hi, good night.
Yeah. So again, I call him back again.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Earlier.
Go right ahead, yeah.
You're asking where the money went and who take money. Honestly, they can't take money. You understand? To encourage this LGBTQ thing coming to Grenada.
Well, we're hearing the allegations. We can't say that for a fact because I don't demand sue me, but I mean, if you're seeing things like this, it leads you to draw that conclusion logically.
Yeah. Behind closed doors, he taking it. So, if, for example, if Deacon Bullen, he Bullen...
No, Father, we can't say that. We can't say that. Oh, gosh, no. Father, we can't say that on the program. No, let's kind of understand the emotions.
Understand?
But we can't say that.
But we don't want to bring this thing into the schools where we're going to corrupt young minds. These young children supposed to be the future. So when now we bring in these type of different ideas, all right, to these kids, to bend these kids' minds, what type of road are we setting for these kids? What type of road are we setting for these kids? This is not right. We don't need this in Grenada. Growing up as a child, you will hear it take a village to raise a child. You understand? And that's how we grew up. One another helping each other. But now, we're coming with this thing now as you hear Adam and Eve. You don't hear nothing about Adam and Steve. You understand? And we want to push this on kids in schools now. We don't need that in Grenada. And that is the mistake that we're making. If we Grenadians are accepting this in our country, that is the first mistake we're making. Mm-hmm. Whether they're coming in and they're spending money, we can't let their money come and blind us. Because guess what? We're accepting their money. So guess what? No, we're going to accept all of the stupidness they're coming into our country with. And we don't need it. We don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there, we have to find a way to stop it. And I hope Deacon is sensible enough to actually put a stop to this. And why is it these people can operate business in Grenada unregistered? So this is a private business running a show in Grenada, not registered. So what rights do you have to run a business in Grenada? What rights?
But the question I'm really asking is why give there are other companies? I would have liked them to do that with Apple or somebody that even though you do that, they come here and billions of dollars they bring with them. Samsung, exactly. Apple, one of these big names. So they come here, they bring billions of dollars with them in investments and so on. I might be able to understand that, but why this particular company?
Why not Amazon? Why not Google? Why not Amazon?
Yeah.
Why not Apple, like you said?
Make Grenada the center for one of them.
Adidas, something. But instead, you choose to bring this into the country. For what reason?
Yeah. So we asking the questions.
Answer we need. And he have to come forward and answer it. Because guess what? I know he does listen to your show.
What they do religiously?
Guilty conscience. Sorry?
They do religiously. It's like church on a nightly basis for them.
Okay then. So guess what now? You have to have a guilty conscience as a prime minister sitting there and your people is asking, why is it you're doing this? And you choose not to answer it, then you don't belong in office. All right. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. All right. 440-7377. I do humbly apologize. I know for some of you, I do humbly apologize. I know for some of you it's okay. But for those that, yes, I do humbly apologize. 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, I'm just trying to follow up on some of the comments that are coming up there. But I would like them to explain RTI for me. Yeah, because as I said, remember that particular government gazette I was showing you where that was there. Since then, and you all didn't really pick up on it, I was speaking about the reclamation of the hotel, the Radisson grounds. I was speaking about that. And I kept saying to you all that there are other things in that gazette that we're going to have to come to. And that was a couple weeks back in it. And I kept playing with the mouse around that particular part there of Research Triangle Institute. And most people didn't catch what I was doing. But I kept saying there are other things that we need to speak about in this outside of the reclamation of the lands where the Radisson is and so on. There are other things, and I keep pointing to the Research Triangle Institute, hoping that some folks would pick it up. Yeah? So now you know that Research Triangle Institute is exempted here in Grenada, and you know what they've been involved in. So maybe Mr. Joseph Andal, when he finds himself on a proper forum, can tell us, if he ever in Grenada, that is, could Mosquito, that man does be here, boy. Oui, papa. Yeah, so maybe he could tell us why. Because it was done in his hand. So maybe he can explain to us why that particular organization was given the right of way to operate in Grenada. Yeah, maybe he can give us some information in relation to that one. 440-7377. That's 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you have to ask them that, you know, where you come here for?
What you come here for? All we want is unity and peace. Hey, in the party, we don't have to live like this. No, no, no. All we want is unity and peace.
I'm trying to figure. The only achievements I've heard of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs between last year and now is one, they went and they said they pay somebody in Libya the money that Grenada owe Libya, when Libya have about 3 governments operating. They are one on one side of the country, and next on the next side of the country, one operating, peace at the middle of the country. Nobody knows who really, if Libya is really a solid country again, or who in charge, but they went and they choose the eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and just choose one, and they pay them, and say that, so if Libya reunites under other leadership, they can say, well, you all paid a rebel faction, you didn't pay us. Yeah? So that is what they did. That is the achievement that they have for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Other than that, providing jobs for all their lackeys and hangers-on. And yes, they did have 1 or 2 young people, Trisha Bethel, Ian, and so on. Some young people that get a little opportunity. I'm glad they got the opportunity, but I'm waiting with bated breath to hear what the benefits are that they have gotten for the island of Grenada thus far. So I'm waiting to hear that, yeah, we've been able to secure investments in area A or B or so on since we've been out there. Or we've got our foot wet. We've been able to sort out some issues with Grenadian students that may be out in China or wherever, or in the UK or in the US or wherever, and they have to... Waiting to hear some of the achievements of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Outside of a minister that does feel that he's very hilarious and funny, but he's really just making an idiot of himself when he speaks. And the people in St. Patrick looking out for him because they ain't seen him at all. You understand? Yeah, it's like you get a ministry and the ministry block him like an invisible cloak at him. So the people in St. Patrick's, east and west, they can't see the MP, eh? But I tell them people in the east what to do if they want to see the MP already. Yeah, you have to go in blast. If you want to see the MP, just go in blast. 4407. Serious. Yeah, if you want to see that MP, just go in blast. Nice, yeah. Watch this a long time we play a little tune for the MP. You know? Or let me get the MP a little piece of tune for the MP in St. Patrick East. Yeah, like it. 44073777. Kathy Albert, good night to you. Zingba! We've got a call online. Good night.
Tell I call you back again. Tell her this thing you put up on the TV there just now. This is gay people.
All I will say is that the people are involved in
Jesus. What warning we need and all these young children.
They're involved in various aspects of that.
Children. Because I watched the thing you put up, 2 black men, and then they had a symbol with the colors that signify these gay people. So they already bring this gay thing in Grenada.
Well, I'm saying that they have given a company clearance.
You have to speak to your children, educate all the children concerning that. We don't need that in Grenada. I mean, I find out you're talking about that. I find some parents in coming out and speak against that. You all have to speak to your children. I see this thing and you put up there.
Mm-hmm.
And these people have money, you know. There's a big organization all over the world, you know. Hey.
They did say in relation to promoting it around the world.
You have to come out and speak concerning that. Mr. Prime Minister, you have to address the nation about this gay thing in Grenada, sir. You have to come out and speak to the nation concerning this gay thing. It's not because I am my granddaughter going to school. We don't need that in Grenada. Big people, big man and big do the thing by their business. But children, you can't come and push that on children's throat.
Well, let's see how they respond.
Man who want to go in for the man.
Yami?
But children underage, we cannot allow that to happen to with children.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Yami?
parents and grandparents.
Third call
We
and
have
somebody
to
else is
speak
calling.
about that about our children.
Yami?
And the school go up next week.
She doesn't hear when I
Nobody's
call
saying nothing. And all you just say, why you mouth shut? We have to come out and speak as parents, guidance about the children in the school. That's what I have to say tonight because I don't understand. That is a big organization all over the world.
Yami? We go talk
Yeah,
further.
good
We go
night,
talk
sir.
further.
Going now.
Yeah, I realize when I'm talking because I know the phone sometimes, yeah. So let us get this caller line. Hello, good night.
Yeah, Shalom, good night, bro.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine actually. How are you doing?
Thanks be to God, good, brother.
All right, you right ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add my voice to the discussion. And as so far, you've been very careful to say it's more or less alleged, this proposed LGBT agenda to be introduced in schools. And so, I don't know if you remember, or people will call it, our listeners will remember that a few months ago I called on our listening public to be very careful when the Prime Minister speaks and listen attentively to what he says. I remember saying in the budget debate, he throughout his many references in the budget debate about gender equality, and he's using the guise of women, for women and things. And I remember saying, I don't know of any situation where women are solely oppressed in this country and are denied positions and opportunities. I mean, from our head of state, go down to all prominent secretaries in media, women rule, so to speak. So I don't know. And then so that caught my attention. I said, these gender things are gender equality. And I said, there's something beyond that. Then I remember either before the elections or thereafter, I think it was on Loop News, I saw where some group in St. Lucia who promote gay agenda and said they met with him and he gave them the undertaking that he'll have further engage them later on again. Then on the Independence Address in the 7th of February in the park, I distinctly remember the Prime Minister said, we are going to pursue a progressive agenda. And I said, therein lies all that we need to know. Because once you hear the word progressive, they kind of cover all for what they want to. So it comes as no surprise to me if that is the route the government wants to take. But I want people to carefully listen and see and understand where this country is going and what we are in for under this Prime Minister and government. It is very worrying. It is very frightening. And I call on all the so-called interest groups and so in this country from churches go down to lend a voice and speak on behalf of the worried and concerned citizens of this country. Parents are concerned. There are other people very upset about it, but we are almost like the voices. Yeah, we can call, we can do, but you need leadership in everything, right? And these so-called leaders that we have are not speaking up on behalf. They only know us at a certain point. From churches go down, And I find that the churches are very sad. Whether it's an alley, don't wait till it happens. Send a signal to the government saying that if this is what you're going to pursue, we are going to stand against. I know that Bishop Rache and others, but you have conference of churches and all of that, just playing it by ear and pussyfooting around and playing diplomatic and things conveniently, because I know, like in the days of the New National Party, you were quick to put out statement, meet with Dr. Mitchell, so-called negotiate and mediate and all of that. But it's very worrying and troubling for me. And I'm kind of getting antsy over this situation because I find this government is getting away with too much of wrong things in this country. And people are just taking it lying down. Yes, we speak, we rant and rave, but again, I said we need leadership from the New National Party, maybe other opposition forces, whatever. There needs to be a pushback because these people are running roughshod over us, and Grenada is like their playground. And it is very worrying, very disturbing. And this is my contribution, Sheldon. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, caller. 4407377. That's 4407377. Cammy's right. We have to speak to our children. Yeah, we individually have to take the opportunity and try to speak to our children in relation to these issues. Yeah, at least if they are cemented from home, it would be very difficult for them to be broken elsewhere. Yeah, You all ever notice when it comes to some of the Rastafarian families, mother, father, Rastafarian, real Rastafarian in Grenada, that their children, it's very difficult to pull the children out of that. You know why? They ground them at home on a daily basis. They ground them into it. So it is extremely difficult to pull them out of it. In some cases, near impossible. They grow with it. Yeah? There are many other situations that happens as well. So if you take the opportunity and you ground your children at home, it's highly likely they'll be able to withstand any outside influences that may be trying to influence them otherwise. All right? 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, so they've been saying the thing, and I've been listening to them, and we've been asking the questions. But I know that they did this thing with RTI, and when I look through and I see some of the stuff that RTI is promoting, or Research Triangle Institute, when I look at some of the things that they have been promoting, I'm asking, what are they going to be doing in Grenada? Are they going to be doing research here? Are they going to be doing a program of changing public opinion, changing people's perspective in relation to issues? What are they going to be doing here really? We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon Scott.
Hey, good night, bro. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, go right ahead.
We try to do our donation Saturday. There will be a truck passing through Mount. Sorry for Mount 2 area. We go right on the island. We have been Permuta Junction. To do our donation for a girl. She has to do some surgery. The parents can't afford the money so good. Can't afford. So we do a motorcade for a Saturday. So on people outside who listen to the program, it could girls passing through areas, like it could girls a donation when passing through.
So you happen to have the name of the child? I know most time we know people by the nickname. You happen to have the name of the child so people know for sure. Well, I know Grenadians, once they see the truck coming around, they will donate, huh?
Yeah.
That's all people. I remember last year or year before, there was this child that had damaged their spine. And the parents did that motorcade and everything, and the child walking and everything normal now.
Yeah.
You know, they were able to get the help. Grenadians helped. Yeah.
Last week Saturday, last week, so we do a motorcade for her. So we didn't get the pass from the Grenada Police Force yet. So we get the pass yesterday, and so it stays from Saturday. You should do it.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much, my brother.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll try to remind folks. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right. 440-7377. And you know, I forgot there was supposed to be a meeting tonight, you know. Oh goodness. And I had forgotten about that. Try to get some information in relation to that. All right, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. Also, while Honorable Emlyn Pear was speaking last night, she made reference to something that I've heard about myself. Independent of what she said last night, I've been told that there are individuals going around conducting interviews of secondary school children, of the secondary school age. They are asking them questions in relation to their sexuality and gender confirmation, those sort of things, as to if they are a girl, whether they like girls, if they are a boy, whether they like boys, what they think about that, and different questions like that. And they pulling them aside, they're asking them those questions, filling out a questionnaire, but telling the children, don't tell the parents what was asked. Number one, you wasn't going to ask my children no questions. And secondly, you wasn't going to ask them any questions without me being around. I'm the guardian. Yeah? I'm the parent. But that is what has been taking place. I've heard several reports of that in different locations, not just in St. George's. I've heard of it in St. Andrew and on the West Coast as well. That there are these people that are going around, they're asking the children questions in relation to their sexuality and if they've been sexually active and all these kind of things. And then they're telling them, don't tell their parents, don't tell their guardians what questions they were asked. Don't tell them about it. Yeah, so I don't know who is surveying to see what the public perception in relation to LGBTQI plus, etc. is, but definitely some person or persons, organization or organizations, or could even be a political party that is not the New National Party, is doing some polling around, some canvassing around, some questionnaires around, trying to find out what is the perception, particularly about that age group. And you know why they're checking the secondary school students? Because in 5 years, a lot of them are first-time voters. Remember, if they are 13 now, and elections were to be 5 years from now, they would be eligible to vote. Those children that are in Form 4 and Form 5 right now, they may be eligible to vote by the time the next election rolls around. Yeah? So they are questioning secondary school children in relation to this issue. And telling them on the bargain, don't tell your parents what we ask you about. Yeah? I'm just sorry some of them didn't tape them or take pictures of them and that kind of thing. Yeah? But something is going on. So with all this smoke and mirrors and all the things they claim they ain't doing and so on, something going on. And Teacher Jude, we want to hear you in the morning. Yeah, we want to hear what you have to say about these things in the morning. Because the Minister of Education has accused you, Jude Bartholomew, of being a pathological liar. Yeah, that's what he's accusing you of, you know. Because you're saying you hear this, use the teachers president. And you're saying that teachers came to you and said that, and he's saying nothing of this sort is taking place. Yeah? What is he going to come and do? You're going to come now and say that he was confused or the teachers were confused or so on? No, the teachers come and tell you what they hear. Yeah, and there's no one I'm sure several of them come and tell you. So let's hear what Teacher Jude had to say, because we was waiting to hear you, Teacher Jude. So yeah, we go hear you tomorrow. Let me hear what you have to say by tomorrow, man. Yeah, let me hear going into the weekend. Let's see what is taking place. To all the listeners down there, Joyce and all of you, the listeners down there in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, do enjoy your final few hours of independence. I think it's 62 years of independence. Yeah, I think that's what you all at right now. Yeah, so enjoy your final few hours of independence 2023. And in fact, the final few hours of August. We're heading into September in a couple hours. 440-7377. That is the number to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Oh, 61 years. Okay, great.
Is our party in here.
Don't know why. Oh, because it happened in 1962 is why in my head it's telling me 62. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, election. Trinidad got their independence in the year 1962, and that's why the 62 is coming instead of 61. It's 61 years of independence. Yeah. Thank you, Cynthia and Glenda. Somebody could put me in trouble with some of the statements that let us make in this chat. All right. 440-737-7347-329-3101. I have been speaking with some of the police officers as well, and they are very concerned. Yeah, because the fringe benefits that the police have signed on to, they are yet to receive it. So they went and they collecting salary, and then remember, the junior ranks ain't really get nothing much, eh? The junior ranks ain't really get nothing much. It's the upper ranks that really get, yeah, them ACP, the commissioner, the ACP, and them update the DCP, them. When I say DCP, Deputy Commissioner of Police, COP, Commissioner of Police, yeah, ACP, Assistant Commissioner of Police, them update. Them who get the big money. Them fellas and them who call in traffic in tongue and all kind of thing, or when something go wrong, yeah, see that to pull up with the CID van to come and check what's going on, or the RRU, that had to be running down people here, there, and all kind of thing. Not them that get the increase, you know. They may get no significant increase there. Yeah, they may get nothing really much to talk about. They get a benefit, yeah, they get a little fringe benefit, but nothing much to talk about, right? Meanwhile, the upper echelons, who just happened to contain people that was negotiating, get the big slice of the cake up there. Yeah, but them constable and them corporals, them sergeant and them ain't really get nothing much. Yeah, and even though you don't give them nothing much, they still can't get nothing much that they ain't get. Yeah? So several of them, they have been saying, look, we're supposed to get it, we ain't get nothing. Went and checked, they get the same salary that they normally get. Those that did get salary, because many others did not receive as of yesterday. Maybe they received it by today, because I haven't heard much reports in relation to that particular issue of people not receiving their salaries. Did hear several yesterday, but I haven't heard much for today. I don't know if they've received it, and that is the reason, and I would assume as such. All right? So that is probably the reason why we haven't heard it. Folks, remember to like and share. Those of you on Facebook, like and share. Those of you on YouTube, continue to like the page. Like the page. And remember, you can share it on YouTube, share it different places, and so nice. Right. And of course, remember, we are completing the last few. We have 1 or 2 bags again that we are distributing between tomorrow and Saturday. The last couple ones we will be giving out. And so, right, to complete that. And then we're starting to focus on other things because, of course, there'll be some children that might be unable to make the full month of school, as was being explained yesterday. Yeah? This tuition is one thing. But the tuition paid and the student can't afford to have lunch and they can't afford to get down to the school. That is a totally different something. Yeah? And even when TAMCC was speaking about it, they did say that they're not sure what is taking place because they're not sure if government will be providing the monies, because usually they take the tuition monies and use that to buy the materials that they use, the paper, etc. that they use in the school. And since that has been removed, they're hoping that government will, in short order, provide them with the funding to be able to do that. Now, that funding was passed. The secondary schools, up to now, I ain't seen no funding for them for those things still. But the funding for TAMCC and ULO and so in relation to those things, so that was being passed. So we have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Yes, Shalom, good night. I'm calling back again if you just allow me to say something, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, in just in relation to the recent heat waves we've been having, I'm very concerned about the care of elderly and tethered animals, you know. I say that in the context. Last week I was driving, just in the midst of the heat wave. I was on a bus and there's an old lady. I know she should be 100. I remember when the church celebrated her 190th birthday or whatever it was. And I'm passing on the bus and I noticed the house closed up. I say, I wonder what happened to her, if she is there and so on. So I've been trying to make inquiries if she was moved to her home or whatever. And I asked, finally I got some information. I asked them, I said, what's about that lady? They said she's there. I said, yes, I even called recently, a day or two to find out. I said, well, I passed and I saw the house closed up and it's a concrete house. And I mean, I looked around while the bus stopped there for a while. And none of the windows, they say, yes, she's inside there. I say, in all this heat? Yeah, they said, they had a caregiver who used to come regularly from the the givers program, healthcare givers program. But she has been removed. And there's somebody, I think somebody comes, but I don't think that regularly. And that lady stays because she has somebody living with her. But the person goes to work early morning and comes back in the evening. So the caregiver would come and look after her, they say, on a regular basis. But there she has been removed as I understand it. And this other one comes intermittently. And they said she will stay there until that lady comes. I don't know if the key is left with her neighbor or whatever. And so I could not believe that lady was in that hot house all this time as I saw. So today I went to visit another lady and I said, how you, bedridden of course, living alone and dependent on the caregiver. She said, I expect one of the ladies coming to, I call and she said, I'm so glad you come. If you could just pass here and open the door for me and whatever. And she said, I'm so glad you come because not all the time the caregiver comes. Supposed to come on at Thursday, but sometimes she comes late because I think she may go to other people before. I don't know. And she said, I said, how you cope with the heat? She said, about 11 o'clock last week, I almost died inside here with the heat. It's somebody I hear passing on the road with their cell phone talking loud, and I bawl out, and the person come, and I asked them to please, if they could come and open here for me, and she handed them the key or whatever. And so I just want to make an appeal to people to please, be sensitive to the elderly and people who maybe can't move about, and so on. Because I remember the day the electricity went. I mean, I had to rush out of this house, and go to the beach and sit under some tree and so to get some breeze. I came back here, I think I was 7 the night, So I just want us to be mindful. Animals, give them water, maybe put them in a shade, and the elderly and people who are at home, and even babies and so. So that's my contribution, that we be mindful, and as neighbors, look out for each other and whatever. So thank you very much, Sheldon.
No problem. Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, God bless.
And what the caller said is very important, and not just for the elderly, for the young and the infirm as well, because you may have people that are differently able, they're bedridden and so on, and if they get dehydrated, believe me, that could be the end if they get dehydrated. So the elderly, the infirm, those who are bedridden, and the babies, the little ones, they can't tell you that they're thirsty. They might be making noise. And according to how it is, sometimes they just get sleepy and drowsy and that kind of thing. So you have to make sure that they're not in too much of the heat, and as well that they drink a lot of liquids. My little 4-year-old, I make sure he drinking juice, he drinking water, he drinking juice, he drinking water. He like a lot of water. So I don't even have to tell him. I just have to make sure he bottle full all the time with the water. He drink any water, he drink any juice. Yeah? But we have to make sure that we check on the young ones, and that we check on the infirm ones, and we also check on the elderly. As strong as we may think they are, check on the elderly still. Because you hear what the caller was saying, somebody over 100 years old, they're in the house, and there goes the people passing by, and so. And there was a caller about 2 weeks back in relation to a 100-year-old lady. Caller, I have not found your number as much as I search. That's the lady who needed the nurses to come seeing her. It has not escaped me. But as much as I search, and I usually try to make a note every night I come in to say it on air, need to get in contact with you. All right? I need to get in contact with you. Right? That's the caller in relation to the 100-year-old lady who had the leg with the problem and is not seeing the nurses, and so we need to speak with you. All right? I think I know one person who might be able to help, but I've not been able to find that person as well. All right? So please, you need to either get a message to me. You can send it to the WhatsApp in studio here. I will get it. Even though if I'm not in the studio, I will get the WhatsApp. So send a message to us. All right? So folks, we're heading into the final few minutes of tonight's program. We're heading into the final few minutes of tonight's program. And let me just say this. The trend we are seeing is a very worrying one. Very, very worrying one. When I'm in town does tell you straight. They say that look as a one-term government with everybody trying to fill their pocket, their friends' pocket, their family pocket before the time run out. And they ain't waiting until the middle. They ain't waiting until the end. They're trying as much as possible now to fill their pockets. Because they are of the belief that Grenadians already fed up with them, and Grenadians may force them to do what they intend to do in 5 years in 1 or 2. So they're trying to fill their pocket now. Because when you look at the connections in relation to the properties that are earmarked for housing and for the teaching hospital and all of that, when you look at what the land that are earmarked for that, and they're saying they're going to pay a certain amount up front, and then over a 7-year period, they're going to be making payments on a yearly basis until they pay the total amount for that property. And so But then you realize that Mr. Prime Minister, his law firm was the law firm of the people that owned the land. That raises a red or maybe a multicolor flag for you. That raises these flags. When you hear that the Prime Minister, his cabinet, got the Governor General to reclaim the properties where Radisson is, and then you find out the Prime Minister was the lawyer for Radisson, the people in Radisson. The same Prime Minister who reclaiming the land now. You have to say, well, something ain't sounding too right there. When you hear that they're looking to reclaim now the Kimpton by Kawana, and I've explained everything in relation to that earlier. For those of you that got in late, you could dial back later on and listen to the program from the start. You have to say that something is definitely wrong there. Yeah? And we cannot just hide our heads in the sand, as some of them say, hiding head in the sand. No, put no head in sand and thing. Might go on Grand Beach and we might cover we whole body in the sand and thing and leave we head outside, but we don't put we head in the sand. Right? Yeah, sometimes people do that as relax and all kind of thing. Nice, right. But we ain't putting we head in it. But we have to understand and we need clarity in relation to these issues. Clarity. Because if it turns out that as Prime Minister, your law firm is directly involved, and even if your law firm was involved before, you're supposed to step away from all of this. But you want to know who doing conveyances in relation to land and who is the acting, because even if the law firm has been removed, who is to say, in the case of Kimpton, since the Prime Minister said that he's willing to accept CBI money, and we have him on tape saying that, since he's on tape saying that he's willing to accept money from CBI and so on, who is to say he didn't accept money from that same company that is now about to benefit from a windfall from a country that once the case had gone to court, they would have ended up having to pay a pile of money. Folks, that's all the time that we have for Talking Points. It has been wonderful being here with you. Yeah, it's been wonderful being here with you and interacting with you as usual. To all the callers this week, each and every one of you, I would like to thank you so very much. All of you who have been calling the program this week, all of you who have contributed to the program in whichever way, we'd like to say a special thank you to each and every one of you. To Angel's Beauty Supply for the nice fix up and thing, we say thank you so very much. K&R Bookstore, down at the corner of Scott Street and thing there. Yeah, Scott Street. At the corner of Scott Street and Young Street. Right there, the junction W. Julian, with W. Julian and them used to be right there. Yeah, we say a special thank you to you as well. And to each and every one of you, in whichever way that have contributed, as small as it is, to ensuring that we've been able to get some children, get them some bags and at least a couple notebooks. And so there's one individual who gave us some of the pencils and the pens and all kind of thing, and then even saying call the name. And as I saying, some of them does not want you to call the name. The individual who gave the book bags, and so they don't want their name called. They just say, shall I give that? Sorry, I didn't have more to give. And they don't want their names called. But we want you to know that we are very thankful. The individuals who have received and so on, who have heard of what we've been doing, they've been going by Cami and they've been speaking about it, and they are most thankful. And I keep saying, this is not about me. This is a group effort. This is not Sheldon just dip in the pocket and do this. This is many of you who will come together to ensure that these things are done. And we want to thank each and every one of you for that. Folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. We are heading out of here. See you all, God's willing, on Monday. And remember, in whatever you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you and not about you.
Capitalize,